The most popular word of Vedic literature, yoga, has been derived from Sanskrit root word yuj, which literally means to bind, combine, and join together the psychic energies in order to experience a union and communion with the higher self. It is the communion of human soul with the divine. Yoga is an art which helps the person to bring his scattered thoughts together in a reflective and meditative state of mind in order to comprehend the presence of divinity within. Yoga is the unity of the individual soul, Jivatma, with the Supreme Soul, Paramatma. It is the communication of the individual self with the higher self. The yogic practice helps the person to accelerate himself to a specific state of consciousness where the human soul goes in unity with the cosmic soul. It educates about the techniques of directing the attention from the gross body to the nerves and senses, from the senses to the mind, from the mind to the intellect and the Supreme Self. Yogic discipline is a systematic practice of going in unity with the source of life, which helps the person in self-realization and God realization. It's a method of exploring the different aspects of our personality and ultimately being introduced to our own selves and others. Regular yogic practice improves the quality of life, gives self-respect, self-confidence, and a positive control over the activities of our mind and body. Daily yoga practice disciplines our lives and prepares us step by step into the habit of living in the consciousness of the divine. It reorients the entire personality, where the thoughts, words, and actions all blend into homogeneous wholeness. Yoga discipline improves our intellectual abilities and also improves our memory. The daily practice of yoga strengthens the immune system and helps to eliminate the emotional and physical stress. It is also very true that with sustained regular practice of yoga, the aging process can also be controlled to some extent because of the daily connections with the source of life. This is really so true that in general, people, those who respect the yogic discipline, they are very peaceful, very creative, very relaxed, very precise, and live a very healthy, long life. It integrates almost every aspect of our personality, initiating us into living a successful, prosperous life. Yoga practice sets up a spiritual force which is effective, radiant, and shines through the activities of a person. Anybody who lives his life in the consciousness of the indwelling soul through yogic unity, he becomes an embodiment of divine grace and inspires other people to pursue the path of selfless action, love, and mutual understanding. Yogic discipline is not really a religious practice only. It is a necessity of life in order to live a healthy, harmonious, peaceful, productive, and useful life. Yoga philosophy is very unique. and has been accepted all over the world because it doesn't come in conflict with any religious or mystical faith of any other ethnic group. It is an ethical and spiritual discipline available to entire mankind without any distinction of caste, color, creed, and age. As a matter of fact, yogic knowledge promotes universal brotherhood and brings people closer to each other in their original bond, the essence of life. Yoga system was first collated and written down by the great sage Patanjali in his Yoga Sutra. It provides the theoretical knowledge of yoga and also the well-planned system of practice for the attainment of desired goal in life. The Patanjali Yoga Sutra describes about 195 sutras. These sutras are divided into 4 sections. The first deals with the theory of yoga, the second describes the art of yoga and initiation into practice. The third describes the method of comprehending the inherent powers. And the fourth deals with inner unity in transcendence. The Yoga Sutra of Patanjali also describes the 8 steps of self-discipline. These steps prepare the individual for the ultimate experience of union and communion with the higher self. Yoga practice is really not only a means to a certain end, it is indeed both the means and the end. The 8 steps of yogic discipline are yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. For example, the practice of yama stands for collective, universal, and moral commandments like non-violence, truth, continence, and non-stealing. The practice of these Mahavratas in daily life accelerates and purifies our day-to-day emotions to the pursuit of higher goals in life. The ancient sages gave them the name of Mahavrata. These are considered mandatory for any advancement in personal and spiritual upliftment. Yama includes non-violence, truth, continence, and non-stealing. Non-violence has been given a special importance in our scriptures. Ahimsa paramo dharma means non-violence is dharma of mankind. It is one of the highest forms of austerity for self-purification and yogic communion with the indwelling higher self. Violence literally means violating the laws of the indwelling soul or going against the voice of the Supreme Self. So non-violence is the obedience to a higher law of Swadharma, the voice of the indwelling self. The word ahimsa or non-violence stands for mansa vachya karmana, means never hurt anybody by thought, word, or deed. It is indeed a fact that every word which we speak and every action which we perform has its origin in our thoughts. So even to think of harming others is definitely an act of violence. Using unpleasant words in our speech is violence, and inflicting physical injury on others is definitely violence. Attitude of non-violence initiates the person to obey the laws of higher self and to live in harmony with his own inner self and with other people. It promotes inner strength and universal unity. It is the height of conscious connectedness with the indwelling Supreme Soul. The habit of speaking truth is a great principle of life. It gives a lot of inner strength and makes us fearless and confident. It gives self-respect and makes us feel very special in our own way. As described in Mandukya Upanishad, the Supreme Soul is always attainable by truth, austerity, inner wisdom, and celibacy. Sages, those are truthful, pure, and illuminated in their heart, they do experience the presence of God from moment to moment. In words of Gandhiji, truth is God, and God is truth for us to experience and realize in all respects. There should be truth in our thoughts, truth in our speech, and truth in action. Anyone who has realized and actualized this truth, for him nothing else remains to be known, because all austerities are included in it. Speaking truth is the true devotion to God, which leads to union and communion with the higher self. Brahmacharya, continence, should be observed at all stages of life. It helps the person to develop a sound mind and a sound body. It is a doorway to a decent and respectable lifestyle. Niyamas are the rules and regulations for self-purification, such as purity of body and mind, control of desires, and the regular study of the holy books. Regulated diet, exercise, and recreation definitely promotes longevity and happiness in life. Proper discipline in life is indeed a key to success in yoga and meditation. It is really very important to adopt a disciplined course of action in all respects. A disciplined and regulated pursuit helps the person to maintain a proper balance at the physical, psychological, and spiritual levels of consciousness. Anyone who is disciplined about eating, daily exercise, recreation, and work, he becomes harmonized in his daily life, and for him, yoga meditation comes very easily and spontaneously. Next comes the asanas, the physical exercises. Asanas or physical exercises are the part of Kriya Yoga, which is a preparation for yogic unity in transcendence. These yoga exercises are very important for keeping the body in good health and in good shape. Physical exercises purify the body and also help us to eliminate the harmful toxins from our body. Physical exercises are very helpful for the concentration of mind and also in the proper functioning of the nervous system. Kriya Yoga integrates our thought pattern and helps our mind, body, and inner self to work in unison. The next step in Ashtanga Yoga is pranayama. Pranayama literally means conscious control of breath. It is an act of rhythmic inhalation, retention, and exhalation. In order to achieve quick success in yogic communion, pranayama plays a very significant role. Pranayama is an art of breathing, which helps the person to monitor his quality, quantity, and direction of thoughts. For good physical health and stability of mind, it is really important to do pranayama regularly every day. Pranayama can be started with easy inhalation and exhalation. To inhale, count 1 to 5, hold the breath, counting 1 to 5, and exhale the air, counting 1 to 5, remaining quite aware of your mantra. Continue the practice for at least 10 minutes twice a day. After a few weeks, the time of inhalation, retention, and exhalation can be increased. To inhale, counting 10, retain the breath, counting 20, exhale again, counting 10. The increased retention of air in the lungs helps in yogic concentration, meditation, and also purifies the blood, helping the body to eliminate the harmful toxins more efficiently. It improves the capacity of lungs, revitalizes the respiratory system, and helps in proper functioning of the entire body. According to the science of Ayurveda, the practice of pranayama can be described as Surya pranayama, Chandra pranayama, Ujjayi pranayama, Kapalbhati, and Bastrika pranayama, Shitali, and Siddhkari pranayama. These are some very special breathing exercises. Those are generally taught by most of the yoga teachers for general well-being of mind and body. These are very simple and can be practiced by both men, women, and also by children. Surya pranayama harmonizes the heat in body. For Surya pranayama, sit on the floor or on a chair in a comfortable position. Keep the left nostril closed with your finger and gently inhale through the right nostril, counting 1 to 5. Retain the breath and exhale. Increase the period of holding breath very slowly and gradually. This exercise of breath control is very useful and clears the passage of Pingala Nadi, which runs through the right nostril. It stimulates the effect of sunlight in body. The second one is Chandra pranayama. Sitting in the same position, now start inhaling through the left nostril while keeping the right nostril closed with your finger. This exercise harmonizes the coolness in body and clears the passage of Ida Nadi, which runs through the left nostril. It stimulates the lunar influence in body. The Pingala on the right and Ida on the left of the spinal cord makes a threefold knot with Sushmana, the Brahmanadi. This threefold knot is called Triveni. After Surya and Chandra pranayama, the third one is which combines the both and harmonizes heat and cold at the same time. In this exercise, gently inhale through the right nostril, counting 1 to 5, hold it, and exhale through the left nostril, and then shifting to inhale from the left, exhale through the right. Keep shifting the breath control from the right to the left. This yoga exercise of breath control strengthens the immune system and harmonizes the temperature in body. The next one is Ujjayi. Inhale gently through both the nostrils, counting 1 to 5 and remaining aware of the mantra. Hold the breath and exhale through the left nostril by closing the right with your thumb. Although some yoga teachers recommend to exhale through both the nostrils at the same time. This exercise improves the digestive system and harmonizes the gastric fire in body. The other well-known exercise of breath is Kapalbhati. This is one of the Shat Kriya in Hatha Yoga. Kapalbhati can be practiced by sitting in Sukhasana, Padmasana, sitting upright on a chair, and also by lying straight on the floor. Start gently. Inhale, exhale through both the nostrils and then immediately increase the speed, going very fast. Inhale, exhale, like the bellows of a blacksmith. The breath moves in and out of the nose very rapidly, making the sound of a steam engine. There is no retention of breath in this exercise. Simply inhale, exhale vigorously in rapid succession. This is a very powerful exercise which rejuvenates the entire body. Start the exercise with the speed of 1 expulsion per second and then gradually increase. In the beginning, practice Kapalbhati for 2 to 4 minutes once a day, and later it can be increased to twice a day. This yoga pranayama strengthens the respiratory system by cleaning the nasal passages and the bronchial tubes. It purifies the blood and gives new life to each cell in body. This is one of the most useful exercise for the general well-being of the entire body. The duration of time for this exercise should be increased very slowly, according to the capacity of the body. The other highly recommended pranayama is Bhastrika. As the word itself explains, Bhastrika means bellows, the vigorous expulsion of breath that follows one after the other in quick succession. In Bhastrika, after every 1 minute of vigorous inhalation and exhalation, take a deep breath and gently exhale through the mouth with a hissing sound. This deep inhalation and exhalation completes 1 round. Practice 2 to 3 rounds in the morning and 1 to 2 in the evening. This yoga exercise is very beneficial. It strengthens the sun plexus, eliminates many harmful toxins from the body, and cures the diseases causing excess bile, gases, and phlegm. It gives warmth to the body and is very helpful to people suffering from asthma, allergies, and other diseases of chest and lungs. Again, it is very important to meditate on the sound of Om. during the practice of all these exercises. It helps in concentration and going into meditative unity by cleaning the passage of Brahmanadi known as Sushmana. Regular sustained practice of this exercise can break the triple granthi of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh and actually awakens the Kundali Shakti. The other two well-known pranayama are Shitali and Sitkari, practiced for harmonizing the coolness in body. Shitali, as the word itself explains, cools the entire body and helps in relaxation of the central nervous system. It's very easy to practice and especially useful in summer. In these two pranayama, the breath inhalation is through mouth and exhalation through the nose. For Shitali, sit in a comfortable position, push out the tongue and curl it lengthwise so that its shape is more like a fresh curled leaf. Inhale through the curled tongue, counting 1 to 4 with a hissing sound. Then pull the tongue inside, close the lips and exhale through both the nostrils. For Sitkari Pranayama, sit in any comfortable position and hold the teeth tightly together and separate the lips. The tongue can be kept flat or folded against the upper palate. Breathe in through the mouth with hissing sound, counting 1 to 5, hold the breath and gently exhale through the both nostrils. This pranayama keeps the teeth and gums very healthy. These both exercises, Shitali and Sitkari, help in controlling the thirst and hunger. It cools the system and eliminates the harmful toxins from the body. It helps to reduce the blood pressure and emotional stress, and especially works as a tranquilizer for going into sound, peaceful sleep. It purifies the blood and gives radiance and beauty to the skin. This exercise is very useful in yogic discipline and gives a remarkable control on the senses of action and perception. Pratyahara means a conscious control of senses. It brings a conscious withdrawal. It helps the person to withdraw his senses from the sense objects and leads the aspirant towards self-study and self-realization. All of these are the preliminary practices for the purification of mind and body. This is part of Kriya Yoga, which prepares the person for unity with the source of life. Pratyahara can also be explained as a shift in consciousness. It's a disciplined way of speaking, hearing, and listening. A disciplined person really knows when to speak, how much to speak, and what to speak. Success in yogic meditation is achieved by maintaining regular balance in everyday life. Regulated diet and recreation promotes peace of mind and good health. It gives purity, stability, and integrity. A disciplined, regulated pursuit helps the person to maintain a proper balance at the physical, psychological, and spiritual levels. It is really very important to remember the practice of Kriya Yoga should not become a punishment to the point that instead of giving liberation, it becomes a bondage. It should be adopted slowly and gradually, one step at a time. The great sages have emphasized all along the necessity of maintaining an intelligent moderation in everything. The next step of Ashtanga Yoga are Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi. Dharana is one-pointed concentration with faith and determination. It integrates the thinking faculty and slowly leads one to dhyana, concentrated meditation in which the aspirant penetrates through the subconscious layers of mind and attains his own self. In the state of dhyana, the aspirant stays aware of the body, breath, and mind. He observes all the activities of mind at the various levels of consciousness. In the state of samadhi, slowly the outer consciousness starts fading, leading the person into a blissful state of total peace and tranquility. Samadhi is a specific state of consciousness which is very hard to describe. This is something which can be understood only by the personal experience. The entire process of Ashtanga Yoga is step-by-step realization of the Supreme Soul. Sometimes people have a lot of misconception about yoga meditation. They think yogic discipline of samadhi is going to give them some supernatural experiences. Well, it is quite possible. It may do that in due course of time, but may not. It all depends upon the devoted effort, faith, willingness, and confidence. The great sages have declared that in course of practicing yoga devotedly over a long period of time, a person is definitely blessed with the remarkable control of mind and some of the mystical powers known as Asht-Siddhi, such as Anima, means the power to become as small as one desires and also invisible. Laghima is the power to control the weight in body, being as light as possible and to be able to fly in the air. Garima, the power to make the body heavy and firm as one desires. Mahima, the ability to expand the body in any dimension. Vyapti, the mystical power to be seen in all directions. Prakarmya, inner integrity and unusual willpower, and also the ability to work in a co-partnership with God. Ishrut and Vishrut, the God-like power to control everything in macrocosm as well as in microcosm. Prapti, the supreme ability to achieve anything in the universe. These special powers are like blessings of divine and really should not be discussed or used by the student of yoga. A devoted aspirant is advised to ignore these mystical powers and continue his yogic practice very sincerely until the yogic unity in transcendence becomes a way of life. It is indeed a fact that once the person reaches the goal of inner unity with the higher self, he becomes free from all human desires and limitations. In ancient days, the yoga discipline was taken as a necessity of life in order to live a healthy and wholesome life. People started their day with the early morning worship of sun. There are so many hymns in Vedas describing the festival of sunrise, when the golden light is scattered through the rift of clouds. Sun is the giver of life on planet and represents the Supreme Lord Himself. So, in journal, the early morning meditation started facing east with the Surya Namaskara, reciting the glory of the sun. Adi Dev Namastubhyam Prasida Mam Bhaskara Divakar Namastubhyam Prabhakar Namostute Saptashvarat Marudam Prachand Kashyapatjam Shwet Padram Devam Tam Surya Pranamamaya. Om Suryaya Nama, Om Bhaskaraya Nama, Om Divakaraya Nama. There are 12 yogic postures for Surya Namaskara, each flowing into another very gracefully and graciously, energizing each cell in body. After these exercises, the body feels thoroughly refreshed and peaceful. After completing the 12 namaskaras and verbal prayer, sit on the ground or on a chair in a comfortable position and look straight at the rising sun for a second, and then close the eyes. The light of the sun changes many colors and gradually settles at a certain point for us to meditate on that light. This yogic practice of early morning rejuvenates each cell in our body, helps in proper absorption of calcium, and eliminates many toxins, and also helps in meditation and inner illumination. Regular yoga meditation in the morning strengthens the immune system and brings significant improvement in general health and our relationship with others. Although it is really not that important which time of the day we should choose for yoga exercise and meditation, but if we have a choice, it is better to choose the early morning hour, when the body is relaxed and the mind is very peaceful, pure, quiet, and refreshed. The quietness of the crimson dawn is charged with spirituality, which helps in alignment with the inner light of the Supreme Soul. The personal experience of inner light and the unity in yoga remains with us for the rest of the day, and the heavenly afterglow of the yogic unity is carried on in the activities of our day-to-day life. The peace and purity of the meditative hours lingers in the memory long after the moment itself is gone. The person feels very relaxed and refreshed in the middle of everything that goes during the day. The quietness of sunrise makes the yogic experience very rich and rewarding. The other beneficial time for yogic exercise and meditation is the mysterious hour of sunset. The beautiful twilight, the quietness across the horizon is very helpful in meditation, and the mind becomes receptive to the call of the divine. The union of day and night, described as Sandhya in Vedas, initiates the mind and body to glide into relaxed moments and experience the union with the indwelling soul. The momentary hush and pause in nature promotes inner peace and tranquility and helps the person to disengage himself from the activities of daytime and experience the quietness within, which brings deep relaxation in mind and body and also relaxed sleep at night. The third recommended time for yoga exercise and meditation is that of noon. It is not as beneficial as the sunrise and the sunset. At high noon, again, there is a mysterious connection between the sun god and the spiritual self. There is a good possibility of connecting the mind and body to the indwelling self for a short time. If for some reason the sunrise, noon, and sunset are not available for yogic practice, it is still important to find just few minutes any time of the day for yogic exercises and momentary meditation for remaining in tune with the source of life. Whatever time you have and wherever you are, learn to live in the awareness of the self through the constant repetition of mantra, which becomes very helpful in living a relaxed life. It is also really important to remember that the time period of yogic practice should be increased gradually. It should be well regulated and steady. It is good to start with 15 minutes to half an hour and then gradually increase in harmony with the capacity of your physical strength. The other important part of the daily yogic practice is that the subjective experience of yogic unity should be maintained all the 24 hours. We should try to keep the mind saturated with the awareness of divine every minute of our life. Perpetual consciousness of the divine is absolutely necessary for living a peaceful, happy, and prosperous life. In Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna declares the concept of yoga to be in perennial unity with the divine. It brings inner strength and unity consciousness. It helps the thinking faculty to get settled in the divine and makes the mind very resolute and determined. Shri Krishna assures that even the highest achievement of transcendental unity is really possible through the unity in yoga, because in this discipline the individual works in constant unity with the divine. The person becomes determined and resolute. Since he works with integral wisdom and stability, the results of his work are simply remarkable. A yogi works wonders because of his inner peace and concentration of mind. Mantra Yoga means to develop a union and communion with God by constant repetition of mantra. Mantra jap can be very useful and beneficial in the accomplishment of all the preliminary steps discussed for yogic communion. Following all the Mahavratas and other yogic disciplines just comes as a second nature to a disciple who has been initiated into the repetition of holy mantra. Mantra initiation awakens the dormant energy and channelizes it harmoniously and systematically. When energy is in harmony, the performance of ethical codes and rituals becomes very easy. Mantra jap tunes the energy for positive goals. I can really assure all this by my personal experience that mantra jap has helped me not only in following the Mahavratas but in all the spiritual disciplines required for yogic communion. For example, speaking of truth, forgiving others, control of senses, brahmacharya, all of these seemed so challenging and so difficult only few years ago. But now, with mantra jap, nothing seems impossible. Although bragging about these accomplishments is not good, but in my case, I honestly feel that it is all due to the blessings of the divine. I really want to share my experiences with others so that others can get benefit from it and start their spiritual journey with full faith and confidence. The divine grace is for everybody, and it comes when the person calls for it. It is really my personal experience that the communion with the indwelling divinity, which was just a fantasy and a dream in past, now it is definitely a reality for me. The presence of God is felt from moment to moment, quite naturally and effortlessly. I like these words of Oliver Wendell Holmes. He says, "Man's mind, once stretched to a new idea, never goes back to its original dimensions." Mantra Yoga literally means to combine the various levels of consciousness with mantra in order to experience a union and communion with the higher self. It enlightens the person about the presence of divinity within his own self and also reveals the difference between the body and the knower of the body, the indwelling Supreme Soul. Yogic communion is a journey from the physical self to the psychological self and eventually into unity with the higher self. It is the practice of living in the consciousness of God which helps us to develop a special ability of maintaining the presence of mind under all circumstances. It promotes creativity, clarity, and precision of thoughts. Philosophy of Mantra Yoga makes it very clear that a person can keep his identity rooted in the essential nature of the soul while playing different roles in life. Yogic unity through the constant repetition of mantra can be practiced at almost each and every station of life, in office, at home, with family, while working, and while performing the most serious duties of life. That's why Lord Krishna repeats again and again in Bhagavad Gita, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yog yukto bhava Arjuna. O Arjuna, learn to live in the awareness of the self through yoga under all circumstances. Be a yogi, live in yoga and work through yoga. Shri Krishna has declared the supremacy of yogic unity through uninterrupted consciousness of divine over everything else. The reason, because until one learns to live in the awareness of the divine, it is quite natural to slip from the achievement of goal in life. It helps the person to develop inner integrity and strengthens his bond with the source of life. A yogi achieves a state of heightened consciousness. Practice of yoga makes the person very alert, active, diligent, and very intuitive. A yogi's life is gracious, glorious, and becomes an example for others. Shri Krishna tells Arjuna to become a yogi in order to achieve the very best in human life. In mantra yoga, a person is initiated to live his entire life in the awareness of the divine and perform all his work through the guidance of unity in yoga. It is a discipline of living in the consciousness of the self. It is the manifestation of inner unity in the activities of day-to-day life. It is the experience of living in bliss which comes to us with a disciplined daily practice and gradually grows from moment to moment. Mantra yoga is a prerequisite for going into relaxed meditation and unity with the cosmic self. Constant repetition of mantra has the power to awaken within the mind the corresponding awareness of the soul, which does prepare the person for a specific type of concentration and meditation on God. Mantra yoga evolves around a remarkable way of living, which blends devotion, meditation, creativity, success, peace, and harmony with our own inner self, with others, and with nature. When the mind repeats the mantra with sincere devotion, the intellect is guided to process the words of mantra with intention and attention. Gradually, the intellect becomes involved in the consciousness of God, and the person performs all his work through unity in yoga. Mantra yoga helps the person to maintain a remarkable presence of mind in every situation and in every field of life. Excellency in the performance of work is a clear reflection of the yogic unity and connectedness to the source of life. It is the consciousness of the yogic unity which initiates the person into the service of God and into the service of humanity. A doctor becomes dedicated, kind, and compassionate, competent doctor. A surgeon becomes quick and precise while performing operations. A teacher becomes a dedicated teacher, and a student excels in everything he does. Mantra yoga is to become aware of the power which prevails at the heart of entire creation and how we can learn to be responsive to it. Quiet repetition of mantra is the seed, the beginning, the nucleus, around which a person constructs his entire yogic discipline. Repetition of mantra is the greatest source of inspiration in yoga discipline. It really works dramatically only if the person learns to recite with sincere love and devotion. When mantra takes hold of the individual, remembering Lord's name regularly becomes a habit. It helps the person to remain aware of the Lord's presence from moment to moment. The hidden power in words of mantra becomes revealed and experiential in the deepest layers of our awareness. When mantra repetition becomes a state of mind, then all the other methods of yoga discipline merely become shadows. This is called yoga with mantra japa because it keeps the experience of union with God alive from moment to moment. The sound and words of mantra become background music going on with every breath. It becomes an absolutely effortless method of developing unity consciousness. The one-pointed concentration, which usually takes hours in journal yoga session, with mantra japa, it comes within the first few minutes of meditation. With constant repetition of mantra, our entire thinking faculty becomes charged with God consciousness, and the rich experience of yogic unity comes without much effort. Wherever there is mantra yoga, there is prosperity, success, peace, harmony, freedom, and bliss.